We each analysed 2 different film openings and then compared them to see what the different conventions were. Be Kind, Rewind and Hidden Agenda.
I did Star Wars and The Atonement.
I did Heathers and Up the Junction.
I did Four Weddings and a Funeral and About a Boy.
Four Weddings and a Funeral, Hidden Agendas, Atonement and Heathers both use traditional serif font and are traditional, which shows it's a serious film or a drama. They all start with a black and white background and the font makes it stand out, and the audience are more likely to read it. But for modern set films, they tend to use sans serif font. The titles, more sides of the screen to show importance and less importance in groups, such as About a Boy, Be Kind, Rewind and but we don't see this in Up the Junction.
In the Heathers, there is no director's titles along with Up the Junction and Star Wars. However, in Four Weddings and a Funeral and About a Boy, directors are presented by the director's name and then the film. In Be Kind, Rewind and Hidden Agenda and Atonement, they say directed by, then the director's name.
Mention is other titles. In About a Boy and Four Weddings and a Funeral, Hugh Grant is both introduced as the main character for both of the titles, and then after that presented in groups to show less importance. This is the same in all the other films that we have looked at. After the main characters, the other characters are presented in groups and others are introduced.
Be Kind, Rewind, Star Wars, Heathers and The Atonement all fade in from black
to white. And in Four Weddings and a Funeral and Hidden Agenda, they both have no transitions and it is a straight, full. The next one's music and audio. In Be Kind, Rewind and Hidden Agenda, they both start with non-diegetic music. The same with Four Weddings and a Funeral, Heathers, Up the Junction, Star Wars. There is diegetic sound in About a Boy and Atonement, where the characters can hear what the music is. In all these films, there is also an audio bridge used to link all the scenes together.
About a Boy and Up the Junction both use high-angled shots to show weakness. In all of the films, close-up shots are used to show and emphasis a character's emotion. About a Boy, Four Weddings and a Funeral, Be Kind, Rewind, Heathers and Star Wars all have 2 shots to show a strong relationship. There is use of shot reverse shot in Star Wars and Four Weddings and a Funeral. This is to show conversations between characters. But in Star Wars there are low angle shots to show power. In all the films there are establishing shots that are used to show mise-en-scene.
In Be Kind, Rewind, the footage is made to look old and the cars are old, indicating that the footage is meant to look old even though they're filming it in modern day. In Hidden Agenda, by the signs saying No Surrender Belfast, it implies that they may be protesting in some kind of way.
The mise-en-scene in Star Wars is shown by the use of the machinery and spaceships, but then they have people in it as well to show that it's still real life, and this shows that it's a sci-fi film. In Atonement, they show the house at the beginning by doing a view of a doll's house, and it's clever because it shows the inside and the outside of the house. Yeah, before you actually view the real house.
In Heathers, it shows a large upper-class garden with a 3-shot showing 3 girls, and this could show upper class. And in Up the Junction, it shows a large gated house and then goes to a shot of a large industrial town with lots of factories, and this is to show a contrast between 2 lifestyles.
Okay, in Four Weddings and a Funeral and About a Boy, they both show social class, and it shows a social divide in both. It also shows it's set in traditional London. In Four Weddings and a Funeral, it separates the upper class and the lower class, and it shows the very different ways of life. There is also a big social and gender divide. This also sets the mise-en-scene as it shows the different lifestyles of Britain. In About a Boy, it's about upper class and lower class again, and how how different they both are and the clash of the wealthy lifestyle and just working class life. It's also traditionally set in London, as you can see the roads and the cars and the post boxes. We found that doing this, we have found that our films that we chose have lots of similarities and differences, and some that are like the same genre have the similarities and the ones that are different don't.
To the what? Fading from what, Tilly? From black to what?